Hello everyone and welcome to beautiful Waterkloof Golf Club here in the middle of Pretoria. Great to have your company. I'm Arnold Getz. This is the first of 3 events brought to you by TrueSport.tv on the Bushveld Tour. Now it is a 36-hole tournament, and yesterday after the first 18 holes, young Ben Follett-Smith had shot a sparkling 62. That gave him a 5-shot gap over 50 other players, 3 chasing 5 shots further back. The action today should be fast and furious. Thanks for tuning in.
So a beautiful old golf club established way back in 1969, then known as the Monument Golf Club. In 2006 it became Waterkloof Golf Club and featured esteemed club champions such as the long-time European Tour campaigner Richard Sterney, amongst others. Golfcourse has also been seeded up, if you like, over the last few years. More than 4,000 other indigenous trees have been planted, bentgrass greens, kikuyu fairways, and those greens running at about 10.5 on the stimp beater on day 2 of the Bushveld Tour's TrueSport.tv series, and playing for a prize purse of just less than 40,000 Rand up for grabs. Out there onto the first tee, and this first hole measures 383 right from the tips. They're all right from the back today, the boys are, and this is young Hunter Walker, who posted a fine 70 yesterday. However, that's 8 shots back from Follett-Smith, the young man from Harare in Zimbabwe. Walker not exactly sparing the horses. It's ideal if you take this one up the left and let it just slide from left to right into the middle of the fairway. Slight dogleg to the left. So up next then, Keegan McLaughlin. He is one of those men who's 5 shots back, 3 of the chasers. Big follow through. Already a winner on the Bushveld Tour. Pleased with that one.
Here on the first tee, where the action started just about 24 hours ago, we caught up the tour director and Kyle, nice of you to give us your time. Talk to us about round 1, incredible scoring at the front.
Yeah, I mean, we had some great golf yesterday. Our round 1 leader, Follett-Smith, he's a fantastic player. He's won a couple events past. Some extra prize money up for grabs for the players. We're always looking for ways to incentivize the tour for the players.
On the Bushveld Tour, this is event number 95. You've been able to put together some really wonderful tournaments for the youngsters, but as the great Lee Trevino said, there's no bigger pressure than playing for bucks, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are, paying an entry fee, and it puts that pressure on them to play well. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the game. If you don't play well in this game, you are going to lose money. So yeah, at the same time, if you're strong, you're making some good money for yourself. We've had quite a few events here. The course in general is very accommodating. The staff here is fantastic. Location's great. And then yeah, like you said, the actual course is a great setup. It's not the longest course in the world, but it gives the guys some opportunity to make to put together some low numbers, to shoot some good rounds of. So yeah, we love coming here, and we're definitely going to come here more in the future.
Well, if you've just arrived with us on our live stream, welcome. Good to have you with us.
So the golf course measuring 6,700 meters from the tips. And again, this looks like it's young Slade Pickering, who is even. And here, trying to get this sidled up as close as possible. That's where his second shot ended up, and he's trying to roll that up right up close, and he's done a wonderful job. That is what my 4-ball would say, kick in distance, or take it away distance. Nicely done. Powerful young man, plays out of the Jack Nicklaus designed Beaconwood on the banks of Hartbeespoort Dam. And this par 5 playing downhill, Maverick Faber, who is also 2 under and in 10th spot at the moment, battling for the money at the top there. Back to the first tee, and the action from there, you always crucial. You have to try and have a good start. That first tee shot is so important. Werner Deisel, who is 68 after his opening round. does not hold back. And pleased with that too. Picks up the tee fairly quickly, then you know he's pleased with it. Worked that way back into the middle of the fairway. Kurt Groenewald, young man who grew up in the Roodepoort area, but his home course, another of the Jack Nicklaus design courses, Houghton, famous for hosting the Daniel Championships and a few SA Opens in its time. Needs a big move here on day 2. Carded a 71. It's a long, languid, lazy swing. Very little can go wrong with that, that's for sure. So back now to the second hole. Jason Roots at 1 under. Boys seem to favour dropping it on the front edge of the green. Ooh, that's run by a little bit. There's still a bit of chicken on the bone there. Wouldn't have wanted that to go that far past. However, watching these young men, they are rather deadly with the short putts, and Roots also needing a fast start here. 29-year-old tall lad. And this youngster played in a PGA Tour event when he was just 17 years old in Puerto Rico. Not many young men can say that. Just slid it away. I think he pushed that a little. Here's Roots now. Beg your pardon, Maverick Faber. That's for a nicely cleaned up 4. And just the sort of start that he would have wanted. Started at 2 under and immediately after the second hole picks up a shot to old man par. That helps. Pickering now with his last bit of gardening. Exactly the same scenario. And he also picks up a shot, but of course he dropped one on the first. That first hole is a tough scoring opportunity. Most of the young pros would be very pleased to get through there by making a par 4. So this is what that first hole actually looks like. And as we were saying, slight dog leg to the right hand side. Middle of the fairway, you need to run it up to about 280. And that pot bunker on the left hand side, that's out of reach for most of these lads at 330. But it does leave them a very short iron in to a back hole location. This is the overnight leader with an incredible 62 of his. Looks like he's well in control of that swing. Of course, a man who's campaigned on the Asian Tour and on the Sunshine Tour before. Desperately needs to get his game back up to standard so that he can win his tour card back on either one of those, or please Lord, both of those tours. So had 2 Bushveld Tour wins already. And then Chris Long, the 22-year-old from Bryanston Country Club. Talk about undulating greens. There are some undulating greens for you at Bryanston Country Club. So Long, having carded a 68, gets his second round underway. Jonathan Wilsenach, and he's just 18. This lad, by everyone's reckoning, has got a very bright future ahead of him. Carded a 70 as an opening round. It was close. Even his playing partners gave that the body English. Gareth Matheson getting it a little dip of the knee there. Unfortunately, having started off with a drop shot on the first, he does get one back there by making 4 on the second. So lining up this birdie after that rather disappointing approach shot. Ran his approach through the green and then lobbed his third shot to here. Yeah, good stroke, young man. Confident stroke. He walked that in. Let's see why he's dressed in Tiger Woods colours on the last day. On the first, just under borrowed there for it a bit and also ran out of steam. The greens early on here at Waterkloof running a little slowly. But a good start for Follett Smith. Quite frankly, he would have been thinking to himself, all he has to do is to shoot level par today, and if the other boys catch him, well, that's good enough. If he happens to log a 70 at the end of it all, well, well done. Chris Long, great name for a golfer. He is too. At 4 under. Oh, that had a serious look at the hole. My dear mate Dale Hayes would have said, call the police, you were robbed. So Long also one of the chasers, 5 back. And a solid if unspectacular start for him. Now Malloy, the last of those chasers at 5 under par, together with McLaughlin and then young Boshoff. LB Boshoff from Villiersdorp. But here is Malloy, the man from the Free State. The lads are just misjudging that a little bit. A huge turner that from about 12 feet away. You can also hear in our effects mics, not a massive amount of wind, but enough just to make you think on even your putts for that matter. Does the cleaning up. And a straightforward par for Tumelo as they stride off to the second tee. With one of the major highways that surrounds Waterkloof running at the back there. And peak hour traffic in the morning. Kurt Groenewald. That would have been looking good until about 2 feet away from the hole. Groenewald with a very real opportunity for an eagle there. Just left the hole, but that's a very makeable birdie putt indeed. Shouldn't have any trouble with that. This is the lefty, Josh de Aguilar. You can see why he says the best part of his game is his short game. You putt like that, you're going to make an impression. Started off with a very solid 68 and already picked up one more. And Werner Deisel, perhaps just a little aggressive there, but it was the right thing to try and do. No doubt about it. On to the 4th hole. Tricky little par 4 at 360 meters. Lyle Pedro tried to spin that, but that had a horrible first bounce, and maybe he caught a little bit too much of the ball that time. Tried to make that sit on the second hop, but it didn't want to know his story. Volsenach now. He's got his dad Craig on the bag. That always helps. Someone who knows your game and who can say the right words at the right time. All the way down the hill is this? Oh, that had a horrible bobble. Unfortunately, oh my word, that bobble I really think cost him such a good run that he started it off on, but there was a little bit of undulating moves on the green there, and that is a straightforward tap in for another par for him. He is actually level par for his round. Volsenach won't be overly excited about that. It was a good stroke though, not his fault that time. Oh, Pedro. He's run himself into a spot of bother here. Needs to try and make this to limit the damage off the fringe. You never know how that's going to react, and that has gone quite a long way past. It was straight off the bat, left all the way. The tall Gareth Matheson. He says he scrambles well. As then down the hill, and that little bit of right to left break doesn't quite get there, but it's a comfortable par nonetheless. And nicely played. No histrionics there. There's an interesting thing for our amateurs who are watching. You see that Lyle Pedro looked in at the hole there, and that'll also tell you where it's already taken a little bit of wear, which will tell you which side the ball comes in from, and often the Amis can miss that. So to try and limit the damage here. It's a double. That is the last thing you would have wanted on what is rather an innocuous hole. Only the 11th most difficult hole on the golf course. And after getting one back on the field on the second, he gives away a double. On to the 6th hole, and all four the par 3s here at Waterkloof are dramatic and beautiful. Two pot bunkers on the right-hand side, and the 6th today plays all of its 200 odd meters, and the green is 32 meters deep. It's 5 on and 8 from the right, and a rather exacting position, so you're going to have to bring this in from left to right and want to get it to float in, and a little soft fade to not take any chances with those two bunkers, which gobble up all the unsuspecting golf balls. So McLaughlin looking at that one. Oh, and just managed to save himself there. That pitched in the Kikuyu, that thick fringe, the rough, and sat right there, thank goodness, because those bunkers can make it difficult. Sand at Waterkloof is always beautiful. Jonathan Volsenach, and our ball tracking tells you that he's hit that with a little draw. Looks like it's nicely done. So our apologies, that previous player was Gareth Matheson. Volsenach then, what looked like a really good shot. And now Lyle Pedro. He says the best feature of his game is his accuracy from the tee. Let's see if he lives up to that. Looks like a 6-iron in hand. nicely on the club face. That certainly is very nicely done indeed. There you go. That's exactly what he needs after that double.
Guys, we are with Ben Follett-Smith, our leader. He shot 62 yesterday. Ben, what's your game plan going into today?
I think I'm going to try and do exactly what I did yesterday, just play aggressive. I've got my own goals to achieve, and if I reach them, I'll be happy. And I'm not really worried about the outcome, as I have been previously, and it's actually kind of costing me. So I guess if I learn anything, don't worry about the outcome, just play relaxed golf and try and do my best.
Cool. Well, the course record here is 60, so good luck with chasing that. And yeah, play well, man.
Thank you. And if I get 60, it'll be a great 2 rounds of golf. Thank you.
So a very interesting look at a very relaxed overnight leader, although anybody would be relaxed if you'd shot 62 the day before in what looked like it was almost effortless. Josh Aguiar on the 6th hole. And that hand will tell you that maybe he thought he hit that slightly hard. Maybe tried to take one club too much and throttle back on it, and perhaps caught a bit too much of it. This is the tall figure of Keegan McLaughlin. If a man is this tall, you can generate such a lot of club head speed. If you take that out as wide as what he does, well, why not? 67 for him on the opening round. It looks like a 7-iron from 208 away. I think that has drawn way too much up there in the sky. Young man Albie Boshoff, who is 23 and plays out of Serengeti on the East Rand. He'll be used to these sorts of undulating greens because Serengeti, of course, is very much greens like these. Another of the Nicholas courses that has proliferated in South Africa. No, doesn't like that either. It's not bad. It's not a train smash. Not where he wanted to hit it, though. So McLaughlin. The broom handle putter, which will tell you that he's perhaps been plagued by putting troubles. Nice rhythmical stroke. Oh. Again, interesting that the ball looks like it picks up speed around the hole. Shouldn't be too much trouble with a comeback putt. That's nicely done. And a very confident looking stroke that time. So there's 3 ball. Hunter Walker, Albie Boshoff, and Keegan McLaughlin. Yes, sir. Wheels that putter beautifully. So, picked up the 1 shot, but again, not out of the blocks very quickly. Boshoff now for his 2, and oh, he would be devastated with that. He had such an up and down start, dropped one on the first, birdie on the second, and that was an opportunity to make a 2 at what it has been a very difficult hole so far. Very difficult pin position that, even though it looks like it's right in the middle of the green, that is one tough call. The second of the par threes on the front nine, the 8th hole, 145 meters it plays, and particularly here for the 8th, only 5 on and 8 from the right, so not too much trouble where the pros are playing it today. However, there is water on the right hand side. So sand here, unfortunately, and that was perhaps just bladed. I think that's young Boshoff. And then up to the 9th hole, the long par 4, most difficult hole on the golf course. So this hole plays all of 450 meters and quite a bit of uphill on your second shot. McLaughlin, having made an eagle on the 7th hole, was going along very nicely indeed. Thank you very much for asking. Leaving that in the jaws of the hole. Rock solid 4 though, won't be too unhappy with that. Had a great opportunity to make the 3, unfortunately not that time. This green is a tough green. It's 37 meters long from front to back, and this particular pin position, you had to try and keep the ball on the left of the pin because everything runs towards the water here, and quite a steep slope here, as you could perhaps even tell by our camera shot here and the angle that the hole was lying. Albeit Boshoff, who ran himself into trouble on the 7th and the 8th with drop shots there, needs to steady the ship here. Never quite had the right line nor the strength. And young Hunter Walker, after recording a birdie on the 7th, not being able to convert that birdie putt. Also to do the cleaning up. These short putts can be tricky. There is quite a bit of turn, even on the shorter ones, but no problems there. No problems with the cleanup work. On the left hand side and in the middle of your screen, those two greens complexes linked by that H2O, which did attract some golf balls on the approaches. Werner Dijssel, that's a lovely controlled swing. He's asking it to go. Did he hit that a little on the fat side? Perhaps. Started at 4 under par. This is on the par 3 8th. Made a birdie on the 7th, so birdie on the 2nd, birdie on the 8th. A very, I beg your pardon, on the 7th, and a very steady card so far. Picked up 2 shots, and it's 6 under par. Looking good. Groenewald. 34-year-old lad from Roodepoort. Nicely controlled swing. That looked like one of those that he would have said to himself, I only need to hit this at 70%. Don't need to smash this. I've got more than enough club. Let's make it a controlled swing. And then the man who was at 70, -2 at the beginning of the day, Josh de Aguiar. Some of the hardy-dars helping with the commentary. It's always appreciated. It's not quite the birdies these boys had in mind, though. Another look at the 8th hole. And that flag right in the front today at 5 on and 8 from the right. You won't necessarily have to flirt with the water. Back to Dazel. Good roll. Oh, my word. No justice in the golfing world. Par 3, when he would have been thinking to himself, 3 feet away from the hole, that is in the darkness. Groenewald up and out of that stroke pretty quickly in the end. But no harm done. 2 under for the second round and 6 under for the championship. Good start. Chris Long. Long had a bit of a Christmas tree on his card. Picked up a birdie on the 2nd, dropped one on the 3rd, birdie on the 4th, and birdie on the 7th. And here he is now on the par 3, 8th. Just a wedge in hand. Tried to smooth that in there, and the moment he hit it, you heard him say, oh, sit. Seems to be okay. Overnight leader. Started off with an eagle on the 2nd, birdie on the 3rd, birdie on the 4th, drop shot on 5, and then picked up another one on the previous hole. So looking fabulous at this stage at 14 under. Just continued where he left off, which is not easy if you've carded a 62 to come back out and fire at all of the pins. But he did tell us he's going to be playing aggressively and not worry about the outcome too much. Beautiful controlled swing, bringing that in high from right to left. And look at that, absolutely pin high. I thought that the wind would have helped him a bit more perhaps, but that's good, exactly where he parked that. Now 27-year-old Tumelo Molloy. Has earned a Sunshine Tour card before, wants to do that again. Good ball striker. Irons in particular. Wind from right to left. Looked like that was a sand wedge, and it looked like he smashed that. Had to have a go at it with everything in the bag. On the 9th hole then, Kurt Groenewald. And 2 under for the tournament at this stage. 6 under altogether after a start of 68. Tough putt from here though. Came up short with the approach shot. And this has to go up 1 tier and then up a second one, and a big swing too. from his left to right. Look at that as it comes down the slope there and pulls up the handbrake pretty quick. Look at that. It even made a little bit of a U-turn. That's a tough putt. Unfortunately, left that at the worst spot. Although, at the same time, greenkeeper's revenge here just a little, because this hole is probably cut in the toughest part of the green on the long 9th hole. 450 odd meters. Most difficult hole on the golf course. Aguiar, that also, just still that little knoblet that hole has been placed on, it's just hard enough, just difficult enough to make the ball pull up very, very rapidly. So, drop shot there and a double, an ugly double. Well, there's no such thing as a pretty double. At the 7th as well on top of it all, and 4 over for the day. Not where he would have wanted to be. Gave away all the shots that he picked up yesterday after a fine 68. Werner Dazel. Dazel won to the better, because parred the first 2 holes, then gave one back at the 3rd, but picked up birdies on 4 and on 7. Here he is with his birdie putt up the hill on the 9th. But look at this thing go. It was a good 4, 5, 6 inches outside left and up the hill, and just didn't give it enough. Guys did have trouble with that putt all day long as we sat there and watched them coming through. It certainly wasn't easy. Chris Long on the 9th. That is just, I beg your pardon, that is on the 8th hole. And an ugly lie there, which he's handled with aplomb. Tricky little 8th hole this, at 145 meters, just enough to make you work hard with the very short irons. Follett Smith now at 14 under par. Can he convert another one? Don't think he's given that enough. Nope. A little cautious. Gave that a little bit too much respect. Though no hassles there, though. That'll be a straightforward tap-in. Long to see if he can make a sandy after what was a very tough lie, it looked like. Nicely done. Take a bow, young man. So 2 under for the day. And chasing hard, but overshadowed by the incredible play of Benjamin Follett Smith from Harare in Zimbabwe. No worries for Toomey. That's a healthy looking scorecard. He's still not getting attached to the outcome, and that's good. Look at that. Christmas tree. That eagle on the 2nd, and now a straightforward par for him. He'd be disappointed, though, that the flat stick didn't work for him that time, because he's had it nicely under control. Up to the 9th, and the very self-same Malloy, the 27-year-old. Oh, boy. Oh. Overactive with the hands there a little, and perhaps caught it just a little on the toe. after plonking down his second there. Now he's under pressure. The green a good 3-4 feet behind, or below his feet rather. Oh, now that is the touch of a pickpocket. To get it to stop there. We saw many golf balls keep on trundling from that area and down, although he still needs to try and stop the bleeding and just drop one shot here on the toughest hole on the golf course. Long. 2 under for the day. Got a chance. You can just tell that that little hill, or hillock, if you like, that it's on, makes the ball slow down dramatically in the last few feet of roll, unfortunately. A comfortable par in the end. And on to the back nine for Chris Long. Now Follett Smith. Big swing from left to right here for him. Very difficult to judge this correctly, even from 8 odd feet away. Just so difficult. There is a good 3.5, 4 feet swing from that distance away, which is so rare. Malloy left himself with a lot of work to do when he blasted his second all the way over the back of the green. Left his third just short of the fringe. Now must stop the bleeding. Yes, sir. That, under the circumstances, is a very good 5. So there were no problems there for Follett Smith in the end. And we join the lads on the tee box adjacent to that green, the 10th. This is a 400-meter par 4. Dogleg right. And that looks like that has bitten off quite a chunk. If that's long enough, he's bitten off quite a chunk off this dogleg to the right. Sweeps dramatically from the right-hand side once you get past the actual elbow. Flag there on 7 and 5 from the right.
Oh, are we slow, boys?
There's a good look at it.
The guys in front of us just picked up.
So here again, relative short iron in the hand if you blast it anywhere past the 300-meter mark, which most of these lads can do relatively comfortably. Also slightly downhill. You can get a bounder, which leaves you with a very short flick into this 10th hole.
Like 5 minutes.
Let's look at the tree in the back. A little bit of a swirling wind at the moment. It hasn't been steadily from one particular direction.
Again!
Not happy with himself. Not happy at all. Let that leak a little. Is that a little bit of a tired swing, perhaps? But with the commanding position that Follett Smith is in, shouldn't let that worry him too much. No, he's got high standards, but he's firmly in the driver's seat here with just 9 holes to go in the 2022 edition of the Bushveld Tours TrueSport.tv series at Waterkloof Country Club.
Just when you hit a low fade, that was like gold.
Malloy. That's ideal. That's going to pick its way down from left to right. He hit just the right draw. and then that will be a bounder. Malloy then out in 1 under par 35. Nowhere near putting any pressure. None of the players are actually anywhere near putting pressure on 28-year-old overnight leader Ben Follett-Smith. So the second shots have now been hit on the 10th. This is the figure of Chris Long, the 22-year-old from Bryanston Country Club. Had one Bushveld Tour win. Ooh. And that looks like Follett-Smith has got himself into a spot of bother, and the ball bounding through there. Long had to actually sidestep it a little. Wasn't the greatest sidestep. I don't think there'll be a spot for him in the Bok team soon. Follett-Smith will probably have a little bit of steam coming out of his ears. This is one of the first times in more than 27 holes that he's made what looks like a monumental mistake. Can he correct it? This 10th hole, certainly not taxing. 12th most difficult hole on the golf course. Sandwich hands well ahead off the back foot. He's trying to bring that in low and get it all the way down there. Not bad. Should be able to do the paperwork and conclude that quite comfortably. Long using the Texas wedge. In fact, he's even missed the fringe Harry's in that rough. There's very little semi-rough around the greens. Hop, skip and a jump, but is that good enough? Yep, that's also gone the same way. Thought he would have learned something more from Follett-Smith's putt, but he couldn't bring himself to hit it high enough. And he elects to clean up. And a comfortable par. Malloy now. This putt is tough to read from down there. Right to left all the way, and did a good job. Again, just didn't borrow quite enough. I think the greens have got the guys thinking, and thinking quite hard. Rock solid par though for the man from Jackal Creek. He's got his brother-in-law Peter on the bag. Ben making no mistake himself. So after that drive that went the wrong way, he does walk off with a par. Almost had no spring in Gauteng at all. It's been straight into summer. Temperatures here in Pretoria of up to 34 degrees. This is the par 4 12th, the second toughest hole on the golf course. And Follett-Smith electing to bring that in high and soft. Now, will that come off that little bank? No, didn't want to. Disappointed he is. Six holes to go. Follett-Smith then still has that 5-shot advantage that he started the day off with, and answered with some good golf on the front nine. This then for a par on the 12th. Again, look at the swing on this one. Everything from here feeds from left to right. Look at that. Not high enough. Oh, and he's rattled it by a few feet too. Gonna have a bit of white knuckle time there. Young Chris Long, only 22 years old, amateur. And that's a lovely roll. Oh, that got a lot of the hole and decided not to drop in. How does that happen? However, he's had a good start to the back nine. 4-4-4. Looks like an A.B. de Villiers scorecard. Who, by the way, is someone who is a regular around this golf course. Loves this layout. Malloy stuck his second to here. Very comfortably rolls in the birdie 3. And now there is some action. So Malloy up to 7 under par. Would be very pleased with himself. Little word from brother-in-law Peter that says, well done, son. Proud of you. Keep it up. Benjamin to limit the damage. Yes, sir. That'll help. So, drop on the 12th, but still has that huge margin. He has to give himself a firm talking to, though. Now the 15th, another one of the challenging par 3s. Boy, the par 3s here are tough at Waterkloof. Surrounded by bunkers, it looks like they brought in half of the Sahara Desert, and it plays at 180 meters. You want to try and lob this right back in the middle there. And this hole is 9 on and 4 from the right-hand side. That's where the greenkeeper has decided to cut it. Father, the lefty. And he's had a very mixed bag. Back 9 though started with a birdie, I beg your pardon, drop shot, then birdie on 11, par on 12, and drop shot on 13. Here he is on the 15th. Beautiful swing though. Man's got talent, no doubt about that. Hails from Madagascar, Antananarivo, and plays out of the Rover Golf Club. Secured his Sunshine Tour card earlier this season. And this is the burly figure of Slade Pickering. Logged a round of 69. And 2 under par for his round. Up to the 17th, the par 3. A little punch shot. Obviously trying to keep that low in the wind. Looks quite happy with that. And then Jason Roots. The 17th. Measuring a little bit less than what it normally measures at 210 meters today. Looking like the lads are trying to use the wind. Not happy though.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's like a risky shot because only.
Lovely views from this part of the world, and the jacarandas in full bloom. So the schedule for the Bushveld Tour as we go from here. Up next, it's Irene Country Club, the 18th and the 19th. Then at Danefern Country Club, where so many fine championships over the last few years have been decided on the Sunshine Tour. And then the Team Championship at another classic layout just outside of Johannesburg, the 2nd and 3rd of November, when the Bushveld Tour stops at Kyalami Country Club. Werner Deisel.
Be the club.
Oh, he's hit that exactly the way that he wanted, asking it to be the club. If a pro does that, you know he's hit it well and right at the flag. de Aguiar from Johannesburg. Another one of the amateurs in the field to make the cut. And that is impressive.
Go, leave it, man.
Asking the wind to leave it. So perhaps hit it a little higher than what he wanted to. And then the 34-year-old from Roodepoort, Kurt Groenewald. Just a 9-iron here. Working that in. Finish reminiscent of young Wilco Nienaber with that right hand, working its way underneath the left in the follow-through. On to the 13th, the par 4, where we catch up with Chris Long, the amateur. Oh boy, he would have thought for all the rice in China as if that was good. 20 centimeters away from the hole. Here on the 13th, after a beautiful approach shot. Lovely rhythm on the putt and just quietly bleeds it in there from left to right. That's the way to right the ship. A little bit of self-deprecating humor is always a good thing on the golf course. And after the drop shot there on 12 comes right back, bouncing back with a birdie 3 on the 13th. Malloy made that lovely 3 on the previous hole. Can he make it 2 in a row? Get to 3 under par for day 2. Take his total to 8 under. Perhaps just make Ben Follett-Smith know that, hey, we're not going away. I may not be catching you quite right now, but don't make any mistakes. I'm right on your tail. Yes, no mistakes in the heart of the hole. Take that. So just that one blemish on the 9th for the man from Bloemfontein, or as they say in the goeie taal, die Rosestad. Striding along nicely. The order of merit as things stand for the 2022-23 season. Keegan McLaughlin leading by 40,634 Rand in the bank. And Ricky Hendler almost 16,000 Rand further back in arrears. Pickering, Michael Cook and Sam McKenzie would love to have more trouble for their bank manager very, very soon. It's a lovely setup, well balanced. Looks like the weight of the body is right over his feet. Oh, that was a bit quick. That turn was not quite complete and he was already into the way down. Beautiful Waterkloof Golf Club. And Voortrekker Hoogte, the military complex also just to the left there. So the 17th, one more of the very tough par 3s. Bunker on the right, water on the left. Almost no place to miss, and if you are going to miss, right and short is probably the one place where you do want to miss. This is 7 on and 6 from the left, so it's close to the water. Flag is going to tempt you to flirt with the H2O. Werner Deisel, who plays out of a club not too far from here, Woodhill. They're debating whether it's a wedge or a 9-iron, and he's saying a full wedge will do the business today. Yesterday, quite clearly, it was a 9. Got hold of all of it, asking it to get down immediately when it came off the club. No, a shake of the head. Chris Long. He's left that in a rather awkward spot. It could be in that throw-up zone. Very tough green this. Very tough indeed. Follett Smith now. Given himself an opportunity here. Can he convert? Oh, on the welcome mat. It's ringing the doorbell and they haven't opened the front door. Wow. That will frustrate him no end. However, he's still at 5 under par for the day and 15 under for the championship. Malloy at 8 under par for the tournament. He's given a good reckoning of himself. That went the other way. He was expecting that to work a little bit more from right to left. I think he probably misread that. That, judging by what Follett Smith's putt did, didn't quite do the same thing. However, rock solid par 3. He would have wanted a deuce. It would have helped him and lifted him out of that tie for second spot at this stage, but not to be. Long. Oh, that was never online. Not a good stroke, not a confident stroke either. Ooh, and even that was a little squeaky. So, drop shot there for him, unfortunately. So just 1 under for, 2 under, I beg your pardon, for the tournament. With those 2 drops and the 2 birdies. And then to the 18th, the par 5. Shortish at 478 meters. Those bunkers, to get them past there and to the bunker on the left, and that pot bunker on the left is 290 meters, and then avoid the water on the left and the 2 big bunkers on the right, as well as the pot bunkers on the left. Slightly uphill second shot, so perhaps plays half a club more than what would normally be the distance. Groenewald. Clubhouse in the back there then, and you pick your line very nicely here. Would want to move this a little bit from left to right, the breeze coming from that side as well. Then de Aguiar also got a driver in the hand. Level par for the second round, and having started off with a 68, and then Dazel. Powerful young man. Big high fade, and that looks like it's absolutely perfect from behind the 18th tee here. This is Werner Dazel, young man from Woodhill Country Club, just up the road from here, and deciding to blade that one up there, and that is an absolutely exquisite shot from there. That is nicely done. Big swing from his left to his right, and he left himself in a very awkward position. You've got to go tipping the hat, young man. It's good golf. Mary's playing partner saying, that is quick, isn't it? And now Groenewald lining it up. Again, this green very tricky. Where they put this pin today is going to ask a lot of questions from all the players. All the way to the back, and just 7 meters from the left-hand side of the green, and everything sloping from, as we look at it, from our right to left. Just there on that ridge, Groenewald has left himself quite a bit of work. You have to commit to the line and believe it. Has he given it enough? No. That actually got to the edge of the hole, had a little peek and said, no, water's not nice, I'm not getting in. Have you ever? Disappointing way to finish. But in the end, he parks the car at 9 under par with a flawless round of golf, 5 birdies in there, and some admirable golf from Kurt Groenewald, who plays out of Houghton. Josh de Aguiar, and he rolls that one in with confidence. Good stuff, young man. Up and down round. Look at that, eagle on the 14th. Couldn't quite keep the momentum going in the end. Werner Deisel. This then for the birdie, and comes home with 32, so out in 35, back home in 32. That's a 67 for the day's work, and a very solid round indeed from Werner Deisel. Takes his total to 10 under par. Ben Follett-Smith. The rhythm has improved. He lost his way a little bit around the turn, was unhappy with himself once or twice, but has righted the ship. Thank you very much for asking. 3 birdies in the last 5 holes. Let's see if he gets that aggressive action going again. He does. He has absolutely strafed that. Held back nothing.
See, that's why sometimes it's worth just trying to hit the right shot. Trying to be like you should do. Let's see, instead of straight ahead.
Chris Long already had one Bushveld Tour win. Carded a 5 under par 67 in the first round, and 2 under par for this round. Almost a Richard Sterney type of swing. And of course, Sterney, a very popular fellow around this part of the world. Dad has a luxurious guest house not too far from here. Tumelo Malloy. Now the clouds for the first time starting to roll in. Is it banking for a bit of rain later, or is that wishful thinking?
Shot.
Immediately playing partners lauding that shot, saying well done. Tumelo Malloy hit the middle of the fairway. If that is not in the middle, it's probably in the center. Ah, I see that he then decided to lay up. Must have hit it into trouble somewhere of some sort, but then that is not a shot that he would have been pleased with at all. Not at all. Follett-Smith out in 32. Just loves this golf course. Really gone to town on it. 10 birdies yesterday, an eagle, and already 6 birdies today. He's plundered this golf course. And look at that. Wow, that pitched and moved 3 feet from when it pitched until it got to stop. However, he's left it below the hole, and that gives him an uphill putt, a little bit right to left. Can he take advantage and make a final birdie and bring it home in 33? Make that winning total 17 under par. Sun absolutely baking down. Now that would mean that the break on the greens is just a little less as well. Can Roy make one final birdie on the green, or was it a jerky stroke rather than a nice smooth acceleration through the ball? Chris Long. Long looking for one last birdie. Oh no, I beg your pardon, that was for an eagle. And that is a very solid birdie for him then. And Long finishes with an homeward 9 of 36. So 34 and 36 gives him a 70. Now then, the incumbent champion after a incredible display, not just today but also yesterday. What does he do? Rattles that home. Thank you very much for coming. And that's Ben Follett-Smith, who shoots 65 in the second and final round of this championship, the Bushveld Tour's TrueSport.tv series. Wow, that is an amazing card. Those drop shots, just 2 of them, but an eagle and 7 birdies in there. And Tumelo Molloy finishes off the job as well, and he completes his championship with a round of 71. I beg your pardon, 71, and good golf from him too. So the Bushveld Tour Championship lauds the champion here at Waterkloof, Ben Follett-Smith, and Follett-Smith in the end with rounds then of 67 and 65, finishes at 17 under par. Keegan McLaughlin takes the runner-up spot after carding his own 65 in round 2. He finishes at 11 under par, and Werner Deisel with a 2 identical rounds of 67 ends up in the 3rd spot. Kurt Grunewald cards a 67 as well in his final round to finish in 4th place, and Matt Sarles as well as Reese McCain finish on 9 and 8 under par respectively. But you have to say, Ben Follett-Smith, you beauty, 62 and 65, and he is the 2022 champion of the Bushveld Tour TrueSport.tv series here at the Waterkloof Golf Club. I'm Arnold Getz for our whole production crew and TrueSport TV saying thanks for watching.